I took my vehicle in beginning of this year, 2025, to the dealer, a Jeep Wrangler, with a list of items that needed to be repaired. I had my previous mechanic confirm those items, and I have a diagnosis or diagnostic computer that plugs into the port under the dash to confirm the items that needed to be checked out, as the vehicle was hesitating on the road, and on two different occasions the vehicle came to a stop. So I took the vehicle, as I said, to the dealer with a list of items that needed to be checked out, and the dealer advised me that if Endurance did not cover at least half of those items in repair, there would be an $875 diagnosis fee. I called Endurance, gave them the list of items that I had submitted to the car dealer, and we went one item at a time, reviewing it with the contract, and they advised me that certain items were covered, certain ones were not. I went back to the dealer, and I advised them which items to take off of the list of repairs. And again, they reminded me, if anything happens that the dealer is not compensated for at least half of those repairs, there'll be an $875 diagnosis fee. I advised them that yes, I had checked with them, Endurance, and these items are covered. 6 weeks later, I get a call back from the dealer telling me that they had contacted Endurance with the list of items that need to be corrected, and they were advised that Endurance would cover none of them. I called Endurance and spoke to the attendant, and we went over the contract, and she advised that none of those items are covered. And upon reviewing the issue with the attendant, it appears that the first time I called, the person that I spoke to was reading off of the wrong coverage list of items on their contract. The problem being that even their own employee was confused in reading the contract. Problem is that their contracts that they send to their clients, all three coverage plans are compressed into one form. So it is very easy to confuse which items are covered and which items are not. And in this case, even their own employee gave me the wrong information. So to make a long story short, they offered me no assistance. I went back to the dealer, paid $875 for a diagnosis, no repairs. And at that point, I had no alternative but to put the vehicle up for sale. The vehicle was sold in less than 24 hours from posting it online. I gave the buyer a list of the items that I had given to the car dealer for repairs, and I sold the vehicle for $4,000 below market value to cover the repairs that the dealer had quoted. So at this point, I'm out $4,000 plus $875 diagnosis fee. So we're looking at almost a $5,000 loss. And meanwhile, I had a contract with them that I had been paying for years with never a claim. Not a good experience. The most frustrating thing about this situation is that I did my due diligence in checking with Endurance before taking my vehicle in for service to make sure that my coverage was going to be in effect. And after having paid in possibly more than $3,000 into Endurance, I believe I was paying $250 possibly a month for years. I received no coverage when I needed it. And this was the first time ever that I had called them for getting coverage on any kind of a repair. Yes, I called them twice. The first time to confirm the repairs, and the second time to advise them that they had given me the wrong information and that the dealer was going to charge me $875 for diagnostic fees. And all they would say is, well, your contract doesn't cover it. Even though I explained to them that their employee, the first person that I had called and spoke to originally, that they made a mistake. I realized I wasn't getting anywhere and I wasn't going to bother and just take the loss. The service that I got from the first attendant that I spoke to was very courteous, took the time to review my plan, or at least the plan that they thought I had. And the second time I called, they were cold, dry, not even an apology. At the very least, they can take some liability, responsibility in this issue, as their own employee is the one that made the mistake to cause this loss on my part, and offer some type of compensation for my loss. As I said before, I did my due diligence in checking to make sure that I had coverage for what I had submitted to the dealer. And at the end, it was determined that the person at Endurance that I spoke to was reading off of the wrong coverage plan, which caused me nearly $5,000 of loss. And if you add another $3,000 that I had paid in for coverage, I'm really at $8,000 now that I think of it, of a bad investment.